Best options trade for 2025. I've only made one options trade in 2025. 4 hours for a 3.07 ROI. I'm going to go through the charts and outline it. It was a spider, S&P 500 put option. I was long. I'll give you the time. I'll show you what I was seeing, and we'll go through all the charts for Tuesday and see what the higher time frames are doing, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. So let's get to the charts. What I was seeing this morning basically was just a complete jam job up. On the left side, you see the Renko chart with the Keltners, and you see these upper blue Keltners that was really just jamming up. And so this line here, this purple line, I was basically hitting the macro at 954, and I'll show the trade confirmation on the trade. But here's on the right side, a 2-hour chart. I mentioned in the previous video, I was really watching the 2-hour chart. And again, Bollinger Band, upper Bollinger Band. I'm looking at the mid, and this is the candle bar. We're smashing through again the Bollinger Band, and we're doing it in a time frame that's very close to the 10 a.m. silver bullet. And I actually did it on the macro. The macro is a 9:50 to 10:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So these are the high level charts that I was looking at. And yeah, it went against me. This line right here, the tan line, was basically the price candle, I believe, on the 15-minute. So did I have negative heat on this trade? Absolutely. But that just goes to prove in options, you don't have to hit with pinpoint accuracy and precision if you're in the neighborhood and zip code of an extreme buy side liquidity or overbought or oversold. So my opinion was this was buy side liquidity taken at a very high extreme, and the Renko chart was very strongly showing me that, again, because of this upper Keltner, and then I got the validation on the Bollinger on the 2-hour. So let's go and look at the receipts. So what we've got here on the 4-hour for the 307 ROI is a put option, long a put option. Duration of this trade was 4 hours, 9 minutes. I wish they could all be like this, but they're not. The limit buy here was 595s. The maturity that was March 31st. So just because I closed it in 4 hours, this was definitely a long duration, a lot longer duration than 4 hours here. You can see just less than 3 months. And the 1233 was the price. And the time, most important, was on the macro in the AM, just before the silver bullet, 9:54 a.m. Eastern. The sell came in. I was away from the charts, getting the car washed, because I just need to walk away, get away from it. I knew the trade would pay out, but I honestly didn't expect it to be Monday. I thought it could be later in the week. So the sell came in at 1298. And that was for 1:45 p.m. So that's the 4 hours and 9 minutes from 9:54 to 1:45. And what's so special about 1:45 is that's the PM afternoon open range. When you've got 1:30 to 2 p.m., that's setting up that open range. It was definitely overextended, in my opinion, and it had buy side liquidity areas taken out, and 307's definitely something I can be grateful for. And I just need to keep making these chip shots. It's about getting on base. Invest in your trading success for 2025 with me, Coach Craig. Improve on your trade model execution. One-to-one coaching sessions. Trade accountability partnership is what it's all about. Focus on the right things in trading: trade journaling, timing, trade location, modest leverage, patience, and of course, ROI performance. Daily charts. On the left, we've got Bitcoin. Middle, we've got the Six Sister S&P 500 micros. And on the right, the mini NASDAQ 100 micro futures. So these are all micro futures charts. Let's go with Bitcoin. It's the strongest because it's above this black middle Bollinger Band line at 99,195. We're currently 102.5, and this blue line is 101.508. So I am looking at a retrace potentially for that. I'm not trading it, but I just want to see where it is. But because of the gap space between middle Bollinger and the current price and how the 3 EMA is got good gap air distance from the middle Bollinger, this is the strongest chart. Let's go to the second place winner, and the runner-up is NASDAQ 100, and we just now are crossing below the middle Bollinger Band. The 3 EMA below is 21,654, so that's a potential retrace. And the third place finisher, the sixth sister of the three, is the S&P because we're down. We are below it with some air. Middle Bollinger is 6045. So I'm leaning on a short bias here for a setup. And the first potential look at target would be 6005 and change, because that's the 3 EMA on the daily. And you notice we just crossed barely, you can see this, the blue line over the red line, and that is a 9 EMA. So the bottom line is these Bollinger Bands help me identify, especially these black lines. Are we premium or are we discount? Clearly, Bitcoin's at a premium, and clearly the S&P's still at a discount, even though previous day, Monday, was straight through. You can see this premium candle wick here. We pierced it, but we couldn't hold it. And so that leads me to believe that there's not enough strength really to have legs on this rally. I'm calling it suspect here, at least getting this 3MA tagged sometime Tuesday is an opportunity where I might be interested in doing some business. Let's go to the next chart. S&P 500 micro futures on the left. It's the Renko chart, and you can see this complete upper Keltner blue be pierced multiple times on the Renko. This was Monday, and this purple line running through vertical is one that took the options trade. So that's really good for me to just rehearse always location for options trade mixed with patience. So here we are right now. Notice this red line. That's the mid Keltner, similar to the mid Bollinger Band. We are flirting with the idea here is maybe we're getting long in the tooth here on a premium. When we go below the red line, it's going to be more of a discount. On the right, we've got the 2 hours. So that's been my go-to. The first thing you notice on the upper red Bollinger Band is that it is curling. And the middle, this black line is 6007. The PM low for the afternoon previous day was 6003.5. This is marked with the red line. Below that, we've got a new week open gap from December 23rd, and the new week open gap for this week comes in at 59.93 by 59.85. That's the real target that I have at some point this week. We are going to have, for former President Jimmy Carter, Memorial time where the markets are closed Thursday, but non-farm payroll still on for Friday. So I think definitely we get down here potentially if it's a two-way market. 93s by 85s. That's the target zone for this week. Here we are right now at 6018. And again, I'm looking for potentially in the next 24 hours, a 605, 6005 based on that daily chart on the 3 EMA. Let's take off the lipstick on this chart so you can see it a little bit better. Again, this is the Bollinger Bands. You can see I've got some dash lines for some target alerts. And on the left is the Renko. So I look at the naked charts and then just add the lipstick on for the ultimate targets. And this new week open gap, as I mentioned, is going to be a big one. All right, let's go to the next chart, market internals. My Magnificent Eight. I did make a change Replace Microsoft with Amazon because Amazon is one of the big three. You've got Walmart, Costco, Amazon. I really want to pay attention to what the U.S. consumer's doing. Amazon's a good representation of that. So you can see here, I've got all the charts marked from where we're starting the beginning of 2025 and where we're at right now. Price action. Apple is not really recovered from the first trade day of the year. You see NVIDIA, that's the belle of the ball. That is the champ right now. Look at that gap from the previous day. NVIDIA is the champ. That's amazing right here. So that's what's lifting the market, especially on Monday. Tesla definitely had a good day and it went down a little bit. Google is really looking good. So if I had to look at the top four here, I'd say I like the NVIDIA, I like the Google. Amazon looking strong. You've got that gap here currently. Oil has kind of subsided a bit. We had started off the year strong, but it's backing off. Bitcoin is not doing much of a retrace. It's bullish, and the dollar is backing off. So we're going to look at the dollar, the VIX, and the yields next. But that just gives us an idea of the market in turtles on the very big things. I'm surprised about Apple a bit, but again, NVIDIA is such a big share of the market and Google. So if I had ride or die on the best three equities, maybe four, again, NVIDIA, Tesla, Google, and then Amazon. Let's just review the prices on the top four. NVIDIA is a 149, Tesla is a 411. You've got Google at 197, Amazon 227. That thing looks bullish as heck. Dollars down here at 108.24. Oils at 73.46. It looks like it's flagging. And of course, we're going to go into Bitcoin here at a 102. Next chart. A very important US dollar on the left, VIX in the middle, and the treasury yields for 10 years. So on the bookends on the dollar, let's start with that. This black bar on the candle bar is Tuesday already. VIX, not so much. This is not the 7th. This is 6th here. So this is still Monday. And the 10-year treasury yield, this is Tuesday. So I want to start with yields because yields are not abating. And what we had on Monday was a volume imbalance from Friday to Monday. You see this little yellow? So if I'm going to see price on the 10-year above this volume imbalance, that just confirms we're still in a premium. And you see how Monday pierced this red line. That is a 463, 4.638 to be exact. We pierced it, couldn't hold it. But even with this little pullback candle body here, as long as we stay elevated above the volume imbalance and way above this December 18th fair value gap, we could definitely break the 463. So we'll have to see how we do by the end of the week on that. On the dollar on the far left, that is definitely below the fair value gap. We had a volume imbalance in this fair value gap, and I'm watching real closely to see if we go past this red line, which is weeks and weeks ago a buy side liquidity level. And you can see below that, we've got a big yellow rectangle, which is from December 18th FOMC rate cut. That is a fair value gap, and we're respecting it still at this point, but I just want to watch it to see, because if we start letting go of the dollar and yields retrace and the VIX compresses, yeah, you could see the stock market continue to rally. But if the VIX stays in, let's talk about the middle, we haven't really broken a close yet below this yellow fair value gap. So all three of these charts, I want to see confirmation and confluence because they're basically an inverse relationship to the S&P 500 futures chart. So that's why it's so important to do the analysis on this. This is a very important chart, all three. We pointed out the daily chart that the Bitcoin was the strongest compared to S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. So let's look at what resistance is. Right now, this daily fair value gap, you can see this yellow rectangle, the consequent encroachment, that red line. It's respecting, so far, price is respecting that. You don't see candle bodies closing inside or up to this red line. Until we have a close above it, I don't have really belief that we're going to go hit buy side liquidity yet at 108.97. So that again was what? The 12/17, December 17th, all-time high. And that day will go down in infamy because that was the day before the FOMC did a rate cut. So we'll see if that, again, was a misguided rate cut. But the point was, look at the drop that happened after that. Same with equities. And now we're coming back and we're starting to reclaim all of that price action. So buy side liquidity up here in the 108.9s, and middle Bollinger Band is, again, that 99,206. And what's in front of us on the roadblock is the red line on the consequent encroachment, or the 50% fib of the daily fair value gap. So that's it for the Bitcoin. The last chart analysis of the S&P 500, 4-hour, okay, the 4-hour, less than the daily, and we've got wide Bollinger Bands. So upper 6059, lower 58.92. That is really nice. That's a nice spread. And the middle comes in on the 4-hour on 5976.19. This red is a 9 EMA, and I'm marking the closed candles on the 4-hour when we had two closes above the 9 EMA and where it closed at. And that is, again, right in my sweet spot here. You can see we had some 1, 2, 3 consolidated candles, and that's all in the 59.90 to 95 zone. So that's my sweet spot on the target. My target is above the middle Bollinger Band, but below the 9 EMA, and I'm in these dashed lines. So 6005 down here to maybe 59.92 and above. And I want to do some business just because expanded Bollinger Bands, and we've got a premium now, and we're holding. It's currently, as I speak, still Asia. New York midnight open is about to happen. We'll see how London goes. And then we do have a news catalyst, as I went over in the previous video, news catalyst every day of the week. Thanks so much for watching. Shout out to the current subscribers, and anybody that's new, welcome and aloha. I appreciate your support. And if you found this video helpful, please throw a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.